Forests are and will remain one of the major sources of livelihoods to the majority of the people, particularly the smallholder families and the vulnerable communities of the world. To maximize the benefits of forests and trees, and to accelerate the restoration of the huge chunks of forests degraded over the past several decades, there is need for greater inclusion and participation of the forest-dependent communities in the management of the forests and forest resources. This probably explains why over the past 25 years there is growing commitment in many countries the world over to set up laws and policies to give communities more control and ownership over forests and forestry resources. Uganda is actively pursuing the Sustainable Development Agenda, but like in many patriarchal societies, the women still need the consent of their husbands to plant and own forests. It is on this premise that the Center for International Forestry Research, with funds from the Austrian Development Agency, partnered with Makerere University, the Association of Uganda Professional Women in Agriculture and Environment, and the local communities to pilot a 5-year gender, tenure and community forestry project. The purpose was to explore ways in which to increase the participation of women in the management of forests and forestry resources. The study was piloted in 6 randomly selected villages in central Uganda in the districts of Mpigi, Butambala, Masaka and Rakai. Makerere University's School of Forestry, Environment and Geographical Sciences coordinated the project in Uganda and identified the key factors constraining women's rights and participation in decision-making and benefits in the management of forestry resources. The Association of Uganda Professional Women in Agriculture and Environment, AUPE, guided by these critical factors, embarked on the journey to change the status quo. From the onset of the project, they introduced the Adaptive Collaborative Management Strategy, ACM, to encourage the community members, particularly the vulnerable women, to self-reflectively identify the problems which affect them, take collective and collaborative actions to resolve them, monitor and reflect on the outcomes, participate fully in the discussions and leadership of their respective groups, identify and tap into linkages with external actors, and to learn from their choices rather than waiting for outside help. Equipped with the ACM knowledge, skills and with a positive attitude towards change, the communities started on the visioning exercise. AUPE supported them to use the participatory rural appraisal PRA tools, including but not limited to village resource mapping, pair-wise ranking, problem tree analysis, and consequently how to build a vision and action plan for the future. The exercise was conducted through voluntary self-selected segregated gender groups where the older men and women each formed an own group. The same happened with adult men and women and young men and women aged between 15 to 19 years. The responses from all the groups were then merged into one comprehensive vision statement and a 5-year community action plan. This then formed the roadmap which informed the whole project activities. Trained ACM facilitators guided the process from the start, encouraging participation, monitoring, organizing meetings, prompting discussions, and catalyzing linkages. As the process got firmly ingrained, the ACM facilitators from AUPE swiftly moved on to the observer role, a distance far enough to allow the group members to continue on their own, but close enough to attend to any issues that truly needed their attention. They selected 2 co-facilitators, a man and a woman per village, to give the day-to-day guidance to complement the ACM facilitators. This hands-on approach allowed the ACM process to evolve organically, with the community members working to implement their action plans focused on alleviating key forest-related concerns. 5 years along the journey of ACM implementation, the women can now demonstrate at both individual level and the groups in which they organize and the wider community platforms that they can ably participate in decision-making and the overall management of forestry resources. This success can be seen both at the individual gender level and the group level as follows. The women have been able to build their communication skills to support the much-needed joint learning among participants, as well as building their negotiation skills to resolve the conflict in their midst using peaceful means. They have also been able to build their negotiating skills so that they are able to demand for what is due to them and build to synergies amongst the different actors with different interests, values, knowledge, and perspectives. They have also learned how to monitor every step of their activities and the importance of feedback, which allows stakeholders to reframe or transform their perspectives. It also came out prominently that involving the male partners was necessary so that they can be more supportive of their spouses to own the trees, forests, and forestry products. And finally, the communities have been able to create linkages to get services from actors external to the group, such as National Forestry Authority, local and district government. Consequently, 98% of all group members in the study areas now own trees. For example, the baseline survey, which formed the basis of the project 5 years ago, showed that only 5 women scattered in the different parts of the project area had a cumulative number of less than 350 trees. Today, all the 151 women who took part in the study have been able to plant a cumulative number of over 8,500 trees, either on their farms or in the areas allocated to them within the forest reserves, or in both areas. The good news is the women own all the trees they have planted, and the choice to use them is truly on their discretion. In the following excerpts, we explore in a bit of detail each of these impact areas.